Well, September is here, so today I have the top 5 pickups of the month. So last month I did top 5 pickups, and if I'm being honest with you, so many of those have just exploded in price. So a lot of them just didn't make it to this list because there's just better opportunities. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going over the top 5, but this is going to be a bit of a monthly series where I'm going to go and look at the last month and see how they've done. Of course, short-term gains doesn't really mean a whole ton in the long-term side of things, but at the same time, if it's being taken out of the list, then there's a good reason why. It's usually because it's gone up. So I hope you guys find this interesting. I think it's pretty cool, to be honest. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. But anyways, let's begin. All right, so number 5 is 151 booster bundles. Now, last month was Charizard UPCs, but those have just blown up in price. I can't even say if it's worth buying them, to be honest, because they're just so expensive. I think they're good items, don't get me wrong, but it's not that it's not worth it. It's just I see more opportunity with these items here, but that's a good thing because that means that they've gone up so much. So if you bought them, you're doing great. But for this month, it's 151 bundles. Now, we need to ask ourselves why 151 bundles. You see, I haven't just plucked this and just added it on number 5 and called it a day. There's actually an explanation behind it. The explanation is basically that if you notice that Paldean Fates blew up in price and far surpassed 151 after the Bubble Mew exploded. Did you notice that it was after the singles have gone up a whole ton, then the booster bundles went up? Same thing is happening with 151, but not to the same degree. The reason is because there's a lot more 151 singles out there. The population of them is way higher, so it needs more time for it to explode. You see, when you have such a high pop of a card, it can't just triple overnight. But when you have a card like the Bubble Mew, where there's way less PSA 10s versus the Charizard, and there's way less, I mean, realistically, Paladin Fates, you got 3 cards, and that's realistically it, right? But the thing about 151 is you have all these different cards that needs all this buying power to rally it up, and they're going up, but they're going up slowly but surely. So that's why I've put 151 bundles here versus Paladin Fates, because 151 is going to have the same fate as Paladin Fates. It will just explode in price. But the difference is that it takes time because it's such a big set. It's like moving a tiny pebble versus a mountain. Moving a tiny pebble, sure, it's easy, but it's quick and it's done. The thing about 151 bundles is that it takes a long time, but there's a lot more movement to it. I'll be honest, I don't really know what my point is with that like analogy, but anyways, it's a good buy. That's the point. And yeah, looking back at the previous month, if you bought Charizard UPCs, you'd be killing it right now. Onwards to number 4. Alright, number 4 are the Japanese Pokemon Center boxes. So Pokemon very, very rarely make new Japanese promos. So it's quite rare, but when they do, it's a pretty big deal. But for some reason with these, it just kind of hasn't been. Like, they've already gone up a lot in price. They've gone up by about 30 to 40%, so they're already doing quite well. But the thing is that there's a lot more potential to grow. And the reason is because these always just naturally have a humongous demand. It could have the crappiest promo inside. In fact, the promo may not even be exclusive to Japanese and it'll still perform amazing. I'll just chuck a couple on screen where it's quite literally a couple random shitty booster packs no one cares about. And when I say no one cares about, I mean Japanese does not age well. So you look at sets like Crimson Invasion or Steam Siege. Okay, sure, they may be 30, 40, $50 AUD. Japanese, they can't even break like $15. They don't go up. So those loose packs inside of those boxes relatively mean nothing. So it's all about the promo. But a lot of the time, the promo is literally just like a shiny. Like, I'll give a good example. If I can find a picture of it, there's literally one where it just has a shiny Mimikyu. Not exclusive at all. It's just a boring shiny Mimikyu, and quite frankly, it does absolute numbers. It's in the thousands, and the reason is because these have such a high demand. The difference with these ones is they actually are exclusive to Japanese. These promos are exclusive, so it's like what we used to get in these boxes, but just better. On top of that, the cards look good. You've got Pikachu, which is always a guaranteed slam dunk for Japanese, but the difference is that it also has like shiny Gyarados, it has the Latias, it has the Victini, and the other one, the Victini one isn't as good, but the main one is the Hiroshima one. It's just phenomenal. These are a fantastic pickup, and if I'm being honest, if you pick it up now, you're going to do so well. But anyways, number 4 last month was 151 UPCs, and once again, if you bought 151 UPCs, you would be doing really, really well right now, but quite frankly, it's been kicked out of the top 5 because it's just gone up so much. So that's why I'm seeing higher opportunities elsewhere. But if we move on to number 3, we have Prismatic Evolution ETB cases. So Prismatic Evolution ETB cases is actually a good way to fight against reprints. So if you're scared about reprints, I am making a video tomorrow on why reprints are not bad and they are actually your friend. However, if you're scared of reprints, there is a lot of truth that reprints do stagnate the price temporarily. However, if you buy cases, this is a great way to combat against reprints. The reason is because for every single ETB that hits circulation, let's just say they reprint 100,000 Elite Trainer boxes, okay? That doesn't mean that the supply of cases is going to be the same, because you see, cases are more and more desired and more rare every single day that goes on. The reason is because more people want to invest in Pokemon, and sealed cases is just a great way to invest in it. Now, me personally, I actually don't really have the balls to invest in sealed cases because I just genuinely have nightmares that I open it up and it's just got like Paradox Rift inside. So I don't really invest in it other than my Evolving Skies case, which I authenticated myself. I bought it off a good friend of mine that I've known for years, and also where he got it from was a reliable source. So it's got like a good track record. But other than that, I just don't buy sealed cases for that reason, because I just literally cannot mentally, unless I bought it from a good source, like, I don't know, a big box store. But which big box store is selling you sealed cases? So that's why they're so expensive. So I would recommend prismatic ETB cases for that reason. And I think that's why 151 ETB cases do so well, is because there's such little sealed ones out there. Like, take me for example, I bought 4 151 ETB sealed cases when they originally came out, but do I still have those? No. Did I just open them up and sell them loose? Yeah, I just sure did. Back then, there wasn't really that much of a premium. Now there is, because such little have survived. Because back then, it was easier to sell 10 loose ones than a sealed case. Because back then, sometimes it was actually easier to sell 10 loose ones rather than just a sealed case, because there was a lot less sentiment to investing back then as there is now. People still invested, but not as much as they do now. However, last month was Paldean Fate's loose bundles. Now, I haven't done the numbers, but you have either doubled or tripled your money if you bought it then. I believe it's more of doubled, almost tripled. We're getting there. But yeah, honestly, I mean, no surprise, Paldean Fates bundles, if you bought them, you'd be killing it right now. So far, we're 3 for 3, going from last month, so that's absolutely, like, that's so rad. Honestly, yeah, Prismatic Loose bundles, they're a great buy, but just not right now. Like, okay, well, it's not that it's not a bad buy right now, but my problem is that it's just getting so expensive. Credit where credit is due. I did call that Paldean Fates would flip 151. I said that a couple months ago, so hey, credit where credit is due, right? But anyways, number 2 is Prismatic Booster Bundle displays. So this is a great fight against the reprints once again. So Prismatic is so due for reprints. It is always due for reprints. It's constantly getting reprints. A great way to fight against it is just buying sealed cases, because sealed cases are a lot more hard to obtain, especially when there's reprints and there's a ton of people who want it. Stores chuck very strict limits on it. So we've got this, but then we've got it cranked to a maximum, because first of all, booster bundle displays are actually collectible. I actually talked about it in this video, so make sure to check out that one after this. But basically, they're actually a collected item. So not only it gets kind of like short printed, if you will, or it's like very hard to come by, it's actually desired. Like, people will actually collect it. So not only you've got the investing people who buy it, but then you've also got the people who just want to display it. No one displays sealed cases, but people 100% display sealed displays. So basically, on top of that, I actually don't even know where it's exclusive, man. I commented saying that it's UK exclusive, and then someone said it's not, but then I commented saying it's EU exclusive, and I swear someone said it's not. I could just be tripping balls. I really don't know, to be honest. It's somewhere exclusive. One of the two, UK or Europe. It's one of those. I think it's Europe exclusive, but honestly, I completely forgot. You're asking the wrong guy. So basically, they're exclusive to somewhere, and there's a lot of demand elsewhere. So basically, what happens is the small supply that there is just gets eaten up. Now, here's the thing. I think that this is what I think, okay? I think that there are a lot of people waiting to see if they'll reprint it elsewhere, because I need you to know that if they reprint it elsewhere, it probably won't do well right now. It'll do well long term 100%, and that's why it's not really that risky of a buy. But if it doesn't get reprinted elsewhere, and if it only ever gets reprinted as like more bundles get reprinted, but doesn't get reprinted like globally, oh my goodness, it's going to be the most expensive booster bundle display by a long shot. It will overtake Paldean Fates. It will overtake 151. It will be the most expensive. It will be the same as buying Evolving Skies booster boxes. So, you know, if you bought Evolving Skies, you would be laughing, okay? But if you bought Evolving Skies booster boxes, you would really be laughing. But then on top of that, if you bought Evolving Skies booster box cases, you would be mega laughing. This, in my opinion, is the equivalent of buying a case. The reason is because, sure, everyone has some prismatic, but at the end of the day, this will be the most premium item with prismatic Pokemon Center ETBs. Now, which one will overtake the other one? It's not really the point. It doesn't really matter. Like, if they're literally the two most expensive items, if I bought booster bundle displays and you bought Pokemon Center ETBs, bro, we're both gonna party, right? We're not gonna fight over, oh well, mine is a little bit more expensive, so I'm right, dude. We're both laughing. We didn't buy poster collections. We bought the premium item. We're both laughing, right? So it's kind of that situation where it's like it's going to be a really premium item, and I don't think that premium has been unlocked yet. I don't know, man. I really wish I had more, especially the fact that I have so much Paladin Fate, and I think that Prismatic is going to be more. But at the same time, Prismatic is actually cheaper, so then it kind of makes me question, should I sell some? But then I kind of hate selling so early, so honestly, I'm probably just going to stick with 3. But dude, even 3, like, dude, I'm absolutely going to slay the competition with 3. So anyways, last month was Prismatic ETBs. This month is the displays. Prismatic ETBs, it's still not a bad buy, especially in fact if you don't want to buy a whole case. The reason why you wouldn't want to buy a whole case is because you don't have the funds now. Say you invest like $100 a week into Pokemon, then you really wouldn't want to wait like 10 weeks or more, like, or I think it's actually like 12 weeks because of the sealed case premium. You wouldn't want to wait like 12 weeks to invest in ETBs because by then it could have doubled, it could have gone up. It just complicates things. So yeah, buying loose ETBs works, but if you do have the money for it, 100% suggest buying just sealed cases if you can. But if not, you can always buy loose ones, which is what number 2 was last week. All right, number 1. Now, if you bought last month's number 1, holy moly, you would be killing it. But we'll talk about that in a second. Number 1 for this month is Prismatic SBCs. The reason is because Prismatic SBCs, they're a good item, and I feel like they're just going to be really desired because it's very cool. I don't really invest in like collection boxes, which is ironic because depending on how far depending on how far this camera is, there's Rayquaza collection boxes there. There's then Zapdos boxes, Alakazam boxes there. So like, ironically, it's like, what's up with that? Look, I'll be honest with you, I got those at such a cheap price and I really can't be bothered selling them. Like, I just don't have the energy to sell them, so I'm not buying more. I'll put it at that, okay? Sure, I have some, but I don't want more. So I really have kind of come to the realization that there is no point in buying low price per pack items because they're the cheapest item for a reason, right? Like, I feel like when people buy blooming waters or collection boxes, they're kind of hoping that they just magically double in price because the price per pack is really good, but that's not what the collectors want. The collectors want the premium items. We're talking SBCs, UPCs, and who cares if it means that they have to pay more per pack? Well, that doesn't matter. They don't care. And more than likely, they're not opening up the pack anyway, so who cares? Like, if 151 Elite Trainer boxes had one boost pack inside, I would be willing to bet a lot of money that it would be identical price or maybe a little bit less, but not by a whole ton because it's not even about the item. Think about it. Do you think people are opening up 151 Elite Trainer boxes? No, no one's opening up 151 Elite Trainer boxes. So then it's not even about the packs, it's about the desirability of the item, right? So that's why Prismatic SPCs I think will do really well. It's because of the desirability of the item. But on top of that, the promo is actually pretty solid. It's nowhere near as good as 151, and this is something I've tried to preach for a while now, that sure, it's a good promo, but it's got nothing on 151. It has nothing on Charizard UPC. It has nothing on all of the UPCs. However, I will say it is kind of better than the Charizard UPC coming up from Mega Evolution, so it's got that at least, right? Like, the pack selection is so much better. But anyways, another thing about the Prismatic SPCs that I really like is it's just so nice. Like, everything about it's nice. The sleeves is nice. The playmat is nice. I know those don't really contribute to the value a whole ton, but I don't know. I just like it. I think it'll do really well naturally because the whole, Ultra Premium Collection box, I think that's why it'll do really well. And I'm very interested to see what they'll do with SPCs in the future. I don't know why they switched from UPC to SPC. And then someone correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the Charizard one a UPC? I don't know what they're doing with SPC. I'm going to assume an SPC is for holiday sets only. Only time will tell. It's going to be very interesting to see what they do with that in the future. Anyways, number 1 last month was Scarlet and Violet top chasers in PSA 10s. Now, if you actually followed this advice, which if you didn't follow it, there's no stress, there's no worries, that's okay, don't stress. But if you did follow it, holy moly, you would be printing right now. So I recommended a couple of them, but I also just recommended that you kind of just figure out and just buy some. Just, whatever you think is undervalued, there's tons of them to buy. They've been killing it. They've been doing absolute numbers. So virtually, if you bought any 151 SIR, pretty much but the Charizard, you would have doubled your money. Zapdos has pretty much doubled. Oh no, well, it hasn't pretty much. It just has doubled. Blastoise has almost doubled. Venusaur's up like 80%. And then you look at like Temporal Forces. Gastly's up way more as a PSA 10. Morty's Conviction is up as a PSA 10. All these cards is up so much. Dude, even my child, Journey Together, is up. Oh my goodness, finally, Lilith Clefairy is up. Let's freaking go, guys. The lowest that the Lilith Clefairy went was about the 350 range. Now it's all the way up to 570 as a PSA 10, which is so good. I'm so happy to see that Journey Together is somewhat succeeding. I mean, I'm happy because it was literally what this channel was built on. This channel, the first video was Journey Together. I am so confident on Journey Together, but also the box price of Journey Together has been going up. These guys are quite steadily going up. Am I touching the wrong? No, okay, yeah, okay. These guys are quite steadily going up, so I'm very happy to see that. It's not going to be mentioned in this video because maybe someday Journey Together will make the top 5, but definitely not today. I love it, but I also have to, not use my emotion. I also have to use my logic, and it is not a top 5. So yeah, so that's going to do it for today's video. Thanks for watching.